Hello, guys. Good evening, and welcome to Shocking Hour. Okay, so this is episode 11 of Shocking Hour, and like the way we saw yesterday in episode 10 of Shocking Hour, we'll be looking at simple interest. So yesterday we did what simple interest is. We looked at the parameters that are involved in simple interest and how to do some basic calculations on simple interest. And today we want to continue with the same topic, simple interest, where we'll be looking at some calculations on simple interest. But before we do that, I would still take you guys through what simple interest is, what are the parameters that are involved in simple interest, and how to calculate simple interest, right? This is basically about money, right? And it's very applicable in our day-to-day life. So whether you save money at the bank or you go for a loan or you borrow a friend money, there is the need for the person after borrowing the money to return some interest on your money. Are you okay? And that interest can be calculated in many ways. One of them is simple interest. We also have what we call the compound interest and many more. And then depending on the financial institution that you are dealing with, they may have various way of calculating the interest on the principal or the amount that you've borrowed. But for today's session, we'll be looking at the basic one, that is the simple interest. And then we'll be looking at how to do the calculations on simple interest. So if that is something that is really amazing and you want to know how to calculate simple interest, how when you borrow money from an organization like the bank or the financial firm, how they calculate the interest on your money. And if they are using the simple interest formula, you want to know how it works. Today's live stream is for that. So the lecture will be on simple interest. We'll be looking at what simple interest is, the parameters involved, and how to do some calculations on simple interest. We have about 4 examples to do, and I'm sure by the time we are done, you should have a better understanding and appreciate the concept of simple interest. This is all about money. You borrow money from someone or you lend money to someone, you give them a rate and then you give them a time or a duration. If the time reaches or the time has elapsed, you want your money and the interest that the money has generated, you want it back. And one of the ways to calculate that is via the simple interest. All right, so for those of us who are watching live, if this is something you like, I will please like the video, share the stream, and then also interact with me in the live chat. I will be responding to all your messages and cool. And then along the way, if I give an example and you can attempt the question, please feel free to go ahead, attempt the question, and engage with me so that we have these lively study sessions. Once again, I welcome you to Shocking Hour episode 11. And this today's topic, like I said, is on simple interest. All right, so let's begin. Let's look at what the whole concept of simple interest that I've been talking about, what it is. All right. So basically, when we are talking about simple interest, we are saying this is the method to calculate the amount of interest charged on a sum of money at a given rate for a period of time. Okay, so this is the way you calculate the amount of money, the interest that will be generated on an amount of money at a given rate for a period of time. So let's write our simple interest first. Simple interest. Okay. So we are saying that simple interest is a method to calculate the amount of interest charged on a sum of money at a given rate for a given period of time. That is basically what simple interest is. Now, for you to be able to calculate simple interest, we need to know some parameters that are needed or some terminologies that we use in simple interest. So we have quite a couple of them, very few actually. We have something we call the principal. Okay, then we have something people just call it rate, or some people call it the rate of interest. So let's go with that. We have the rate of interest, and then we have the time. Are we okay? Now, the principal basically means the money that you are borrowing. Okay, whether you are borrowing from someone or you are lending to someone, the amount of money that you are taking from somebody or an organization or financial institution becomes the principal. That is the amount of money that you are borrowing from the individual or from the firm. So that becomes your principal. Now, the rate of interest is a percentage. Normally, it's given in percentage, always given in percentage. Okay. Now, the rate of interest, this is the percentage of interest that will come onto your principal. Okay. So, for instance, if it's 10%, it means that at the end of the duration or the time period given to you, they will calculate 10% of the principal that you've borrowed, and that will become the interest that you pay on the money that you've borrowed from the organization or from the person. Okay, and then the time is the duration that is given to you, and this is preferably in years. Okay, but they can give you in months. Okay, they can give you in decades. Depends. Okay, but it's always usually it's in years. Are we okay? So basically, these are the three parameters that comes to mind when we are talking about simple interest. Are we okay? So we are saying that you have something we call the principal, which is the amount of money that you have borrowed or you are lending to someone, if you are the one lending the money or someone is borrowing from you. And then we have the rate of interest, that is the percentage that will determine the interest that you pay on the amount of money that you borrowed. And then the last one is the time, that is the duration or the time frame that you've been given to bring the principal plus the interest. Are we okay? So that is what we are calling simple interest. Now, to calculate simple interest, it's very easy. So let's look at the formula. So basically, to calculate the simple interest, this is equal to just the product of the principal multiplied by the rate in percentage multiplied by the time. This is the formula. But now, whenever we are given rate is in percentage, it means that if it is 20, it's going to be 20 over 100. If it is 50, it's going to be 50 over 100. Okay? So this formula can be rewritten as simple interest is equal to the principal multiplied by the rate over 100. Okay? So the rate, the R over 100 is we taking off the percentage sign that we have over here. And then we multiplied by time. Are we okay? Now, in mathematics, this whole expression can be rewritten in a more gorgeous or more nicer way. And that is how come we have the popular formula simple interest is equal to the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by time or divided by 100. Are we okay? And this becomes the formula for calculating simple interest. Okay, so this is the formula that we use in calculating simple interest. It's very easy. All you have to do is to multiply the principal, that is the amount of money that you have borrowed, and then you multiply it with the rate, the percentage you have been given, then you multiply it by time, and then you divide all by 100. Now, mind you, because the formula already has the 100 at the bottom, the rate, you don't need to include the 100 in there, because that is how come we have 100 at the bottom. So this is the formula for calculating simple interest. Like I said, this is money related. This is money related. So if you want to know how interest are calculated on your money that you borrow from a bank or from loan sharks or any other person, okay, this is one of the ways. We are looking at just simple interest. Like I said, we have other ones like compound interest and many more, but we are looking at the simplest one, and that is what we are calling the simple interest. And this is the formula for calculating the simple interest for a particular sum of money that you have borrowed from someone. It's the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time, all divided by 100. All right, so let's quickly look at some. Yes. I don't know why this is happening. Okay. All right. So in other words, so we can be asked, depending on the question, we can be asked to find the principal or the rate or the time. What I mean by this is that sometimes the question will give us the interest, and then to give us the principal, it will give us the rate. The question will demand that we find the time. Okay, then we have to do some basic substitution or change of subject. If the question demands that we find the rate, it means that we'll be given the time, we'll be given the principal, we'll be given the interest, and then we would have to find the rate. Are we okay? The same way we can be given the interest, the rate, and then the time, and then they will ask that we find the principal. So the question can come in dynamic ways. Sometimes they can tell you to find the interest at the end of the first year, then maybe the fifth year, then maybe the 10th year. It all depends on how the question is structured or formatted. But at the end, it's just the basic formula. Simple interest is the principal multiplied by the rate, multiplied by the time, or divided by 100. And that is how we calculate our simple interest. All right, so we have here a question. So we have here Mr. Dash borrowed $150,000 from the bank for 2 years at 7% interest per annum. So we have to calculate the interest paid at the end of the 2 years, and then the total amount paid after the 2 years. Are we okay? So this is a very simple question on simple interest that we have. So let's have a look at this particular problem, and then we look at other problems as well. Like I said, these questions are very easy, and then we are going to look at them, right? Okay, so let's write the solution to this problem. Are you okay? So now, if we read the question again, we have Mr. Dash borrowed $150,000. Now, this $150,000 becomes our principal, or our P, the amount of money that was borrowed. Are you okay? All right. So, like I said, the principal in this case, P, will be equal to $150,000. Okay, that is the principal. Now, they say he borrowed 150,000 from the bank for 2 years. Okay, for 2 years. It means that the time is 2. Okay, 2 years. And then at an interest rate of 7% per annum. So our rate here, or our R, is 7% per annum. Okay, or per year. That is what per annum means. Per annum means per year. All right, so over here, at this point, we've identified our principal, we've identified our time, we've identified our rate. So it becomes very easy for us to go ahead and solve the problem. Are we okay? So the simple interest here, or the interest on this amount of money, okay, because the I aspect of the saying, the question is saying calculate the interest paid. So it means the interest paid after the 2 years. So we are going to calculate that interest right now. So to calculate that interest, that is the principal multiplied by the rate, multiplied by the time, or divided by 100. And that is how we get the simple interest on that principal. Okay? So now if I do the substitution, remember my P is 150,000. So I have my 150,000. Okay? Multiplied by the rate. The rate in this case is 2 years. Then multiplied by the time. The time is 2 rather. And then the rate is 7. So let me erase this and do it well so I will not be confused. So yes, the principal is 150,000. And then the rate is 7. So we have 7 here. Multiplied by the time, which is 2, all divided by 100. So this is what I have. So over here, the 2 zeros over here will cancel the 2 0 over here. So I basically have here 1500 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 2. Okay, that is what I have over here. So let's proceed to multiply that and see the answer we have as our interest after 2 years. So let's go to our calculator. So you can either input everything you have on the screen directly into your calculator and get your answer, or you can cancel like I did, but at the end of the day, you are still going to get the same answer. So I have here 1,500 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 2. Are we okay? All right, so that will give me 21,000. 21,000. So I have my dollars over here as the interest. So it means that the interest that Mr. Dash has to pay on the amount of money that he borrowed after 2 years is $21,000. Okay, so after 2 years, he has to pay 21,000 as interest to the bank for borrowing him $150,000. Are we okay? So that is the solution to the first problem. Any questions so far? All right, no questions. Very good. So let's proceed with the I aspect of the question. So this is I. So let's proceed to do I. Okay. So for I, we are to find the total amount paid after 2 years. So the total amount paid after 2 years is basically you adding the interest and then the principal, because you've gone ahead to borrow a certain amount of money and then you've been asked to add the interest. Are you okay? So after adding the interest to the principal, that becomes the total amount of money that you pay. Okay, so we have Abdullah Dulga. I hope I'm mentioning your name right. So Abdullah, hi, thank you for joining, and I'm glad you decided to join. I hope you are understanding what we are doing so far. Okay, I hope you are understanding. And if you have any question, let me know in the live chat and I'll address it. Okay, if you want me to re-explain something, you can also let me know. I will do that. Are you okay, Abdullah? So, Abdullah, thank you so much for joining, and hi once again. All right, so like I was saying, the total amount paid after 2 years will be the sum of the principal and the interest. Are we okay? So the total amount paid after 2 years is the principal plus the simple interest. So principal, which is the P, plus the simple interest. And in this case, that is equal to $150,000 plus $21,000. Are we okay? So if we add these two guys, so we have 150,000, 1, 2, 3, plus 21,000. Okay, that will give us $171,000. Are we okay? So this is the amount of money that Mr. Dash has to pay after 2 years to the bank. Okay, per the agreement that he is going to borrow $150,000 for 2 years at a rate of 7% interest per annum. Are we okay? So this is the total amount that he has to pay. Note that he borrowed 150,000. The interest he has to pay on that money is 21,000. And if we add the two, that becomes 171,000. And that becomes the total amount of money that Mr. Dash has to pay to the bank after 2 years. All right. So any questions so far? Anything you want clarification on? If no, then we'll look at another question. But like I said, if you have any questions, any comments, just leave them in the live chat. I will address them before we proceed. Are we okay? All right. Very good. Now let's proceed to the next question. All right. So I have here question number 2. We are to calculate the simple interest. The SI is simple interest. We are to calculate the simple interest at the end of 1 year on 4,000 cedis at 5% interest per annum. This is a very simple and straightforward question. Are we okay? So let's look at the solution to the problem. Now, when I am solving problems, the first thing I do is that after reading the question, I'll read it again and then jot down the parameters that I have. Then after writing the parameters that I have, I'll write my formula, look at the parameters I have, look at the ones that I'm missing, and then look at what the question is saying I should find. So going by that approach, it means that if I read the question again, I am to calculate the simple interest at the end of 1 year. So the time given to me in this case is 1. So I have 1 year as the time given to me. Okay, on the amount given to me here is 4,000 cedis. Okay, so it means that the principal over here is 4,000 cedis. And by the way, cedis is a Ghanaian currency. Okay, it's for the people of Ghana. All right. And then at an interest rate of 5%. So the rate here is 5% per annum, which is per year. Are we okay? So I have my time, my principal, and my rate. I have all these 3 guys. Now, the question says I should find the simple interest. So my SI, or the simple interest, that is what I do not know. Okay, so now I know that I have my time, I have my principal, I have my rate, and I do not know the interest that will be calculated on that amount of money. So all I need to do here is to write the formula for the simple interest. So the formula for calculating simple interest, like we already discussed, is the product of the principal, the rate, and then the time, all on 100. Okay, the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time, all over 100. That is the formula for calculating simple interest. Now, in our case, we were not asked to find either the product, the rate, or the time. Are we okay? So we don't need to do any rearrangement or change of subject over here. All we have to do is just direct substitution. So over here, what I will do is that my principal over here is 4,000. So in place of the P, I have 4,000 here. Then multiplied by the rate. The rate over here, which is the R, is 5%. So I write a 5. Okay. Then multiplied by the time, which in this case is 1. Then I divide all by 100. Now, mind you, the rate, even though it is 5%, I'm not writing 5 over 100 in place of 5 over here because the 100 is already at the bottom. Remember, I already said at the beginning of the lectures that simple interest is the product of principal, rate, and time. But because the rate is in percentage, we divide everything by 100. Okay? And that is how come we have the formula as principal times rate times time all over 100. All right. So now that I have this, all I have to do is to do some basic cancellation and then simple multiplication and division to get my answer or the interest. So as always, let me use a different color to cancel. So the first 0 here will nullify this 0 over here. This 0 will also nullify the second one over here. So all I'm left with is I have 40 multiplied by 5 and then multiplied by 1, or basically 40 multiplied by 5. So in this case, 40 multiplied by 5 is 200. So I have 200 here as my answer, and then I include the sign, which is in this case is the CD sign. So it means that the simple interest, or the interest that I have to pay when I borrow 4,000 Ghana cedis at an interest rate of 5% for 1 year is 200 cedis. Are we okay? So it means that the total amount I have to pay. Now, mind you, the question is just saying we should find the simple interest. So this is our answer. But I am adding something extra. So it means the total amount of money that I have to pay if I were to be the one to borrow 4,000 Ghana cedis at an interest rate of 5% for a year, it means that I have to pay 4,000, which is the principal, plus the interest, which is 200, and that will give me 4,200 cedis. Okay, so this is the amount of money that I have to pay at the end of the year. Are we okay? So guys, any questions, anything you don't understand, anything you want me to go all over again, let me know. Okay, so I'll assume we all understand because Abdul has not said anything yet, and the rest of you also not saying anything. So yes, it means we've all understood up until this point. All right, so we'll continue from here and then look at more examples or more questions. Are we okay? All right, so let's proceed. So the next question we have, just a minute. Okay, yes. So we have over here, the next question is a man took a loan of 50,000 rupees. Okay, now rupees is used by Indians, the people of India. So a man took a loan of 50,000 rupees from a bank at 7% interest per annum for 5 years. After 5 years, he returned only 60,000 rupees to the bank. How much more money does he have to pay to the bank? This is the question. So it means that the man in this case is an Indian. Maybe he wants to start a business. So he went to the bank and said, "Bank, I need 50,000 rupees to start a business." And the bank said, "Okay, we will give you 50,000 rupees to start your business, but it will come with some conditions. And those conditions are, we are giving you this money at an interest rate of 7% for 5 years. So within 5 years, we are expecting you to return our 50,000 rupees plus the interest that will be on this money at the end of the 5 years at 7%. Are you okay? But after 5 years, he only retained 60,000 rupees to the bank. And the question is asking how much more money does he have to pay? One, it means that after 5 years, the amount of money that he returned to the bank is not enough. That means if we add the principal and then the interest together, it's supposed to be more than 60,000 rupees that he's paying to the bank. So it means that he has paid part and there is some left. So the question is asking us to find the amount of money that is left after he has paid the bank 60,000 rupees. Okay, I hope that does justice in breaking the concept to you and for you to understand the question. Okay, so the understanding of the problem is half of it being solved. All right, so what we would first do is that we will find the interest, add it to the principal to get the total amount he was expected to pay to the bank, and then we deduct the 60,000 that he paid to the bank from that money to get the amount that is left that he has to pay. That is the whole concept of it. Very simple, very easy, very straightforward. Are we okay? All right, so let's proceed to look at the solution to that problem. So we have here a man took a loan. So let me write down my solution. Okay, so let me use a bright color so that you guys can see. So he took a loan of, so the principal in this case is 50,000 rupees. That is the amount of money that he borrowed. The rate here is 7%. So the rate is 7. And then the time is 5 years. Are we okay? So now that I have my principal, my rate, and my time, it is very easy for me to proceed and calculate my interest. So my interest in this case, which we always write simple interest, is equal to the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time, all divided by 100. Are we okay? So it means we have your principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time all over 100. All right, so let's proceed. So over here, our principal is the 50,000 multiplied by the rate, which is 7, then multiplied by the time, which is 5, and we divide all by 100. So this is what we have over here so far. So just to cancel some things out to make the divisions very easy, the 0 here will cancel the 0 here. The 0 here will also cancel this here. So I have 500 left. So it will now be 500 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 5. Either that, or you can put 50,000 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 5 all divided by 100 into your calculator and you still get the same answer. Are we okay? So go for the one that best works for you. If you want to cancel, cancel. If not, you are free to use calculator. All right, so I have here 500 multiplied by 7 multiplied by 5, and that will give me, and this is equal to 17,500. Okay, so rupees. So it means that the interest that the man has to pay on the amount of money that he borrowed, which is the 50,000, is 17,500. So it means that the total money that he has to pay, the total that he has to pay to the bank, like we said, that is the principal plus the interest, and that will be equal to the 50,000 plus 17,500. Are we okay? So if we add these two guys, 50,000, 1, 2, 3, plus 17,500, okay, we are getting 67,500 rupees. Okay, we are getting 67,500 rupees. So this is the total amount of money that he was supposed to pay to the bank after the 5 years that they have given him the money. Now, remember the question is saying that how much money does he have to pay the bank? How much more money does he have? So it means that the amount of money he paid to the bank was not enough. Remember, he paid the bank 60,000. Okay, so the amount left over here will simply be the amount that he was expected to pay to the bank, which is the 67,500 rupees minus 60,000, minus the amount that he paid already to the bank. Okay, and if we do that basic subtraction, we are going to get 7,500 as our answer. Remember to always add the sign of the currency, which is in this case is rupees, right? So the amount left is 7,500. So it means that this man has 7,500 rupees more to pay to the bank. He has done his due diligence to pay part of it, but he has only paid that is 10,000 rupees out of the interest of 17,500 that he's supposed to pay. So he has 7,500 rupees as an interest left to pay. Are we okay? All right, so this is the solution to this particular problem. Any questions, any comments yet? Brilliant, no question. Very good. Now let's proceed to look at the next question that we have. Okay, I think that should be the last question. Yes, so this is the last question that we have today. Very simple, very easy, and very straightforward. So I am going to read the question for us, and then I'll leave the screen like this, and then give us some 2 minutes to solve this problem, because this problem is very, very easy. Are we okay? So guys, if you are watching, please interact with me, engage with me, try your hands on these questions, because it's going to be helpful. And then if you're new and you're watching the stream, please just click on my science tutorial at the top. Okay, just click on the thumbnail of the channel, go to the channel and subscribe to the channel. Mind you, this channel we teach, that we provide tutorial videos on mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology, and we also look at past questions. We go to past questions, and then we also sometimes do give you professional PowerPoint masterclass courses on this channel, right? So anything education, anything for you to move from your junior high to your high school or senior high to the college or to the university, you know, this is a platform for you. Anything education, we are here to teach you that. Okay, but we mainly focus on the sciences. So for economics and other business related ones, they are not yet on the platform, but for now, physics, chemistry, mathematics, biology, here is the channel for you. Right, so this is the next question that we have. We have Kofi deposited 3,000 Ghana cedis in a bank at 10% interest per annum. What amount will he get back after 3.5 years? Are we okay? So we have Kofi deposited 3,000 Ghana cedis in a bank at 10% interest per annum. What amount will he get back after 3.5 years? So this is not about borrowing. This is about Kofi depositing some amount of money at the bank, and then he came to an agreement with the bank that this amount of money that I'm depositing here will generate an interest of 10% per annum. Okay, so he's going to leave it there for 3.5 years. So what amount will Kofi get back? Okay, it means that the amount that Kofi will get back will be his principal plus the interest after the 3.5 years. If we add these two, this will become the amount that he will get after the 3.5 years. So it's an investment. Are we okay? It's an investment. All right. So this is the question. So guys, if you can try your hands on it, your hands on it. I am giving you 2 minutes, and then after 2 minutes, I'll start solving the problem. Okay. So this is the problem on the board. Let's solve it. Let me grab some snack. You guys are invited. I'm facing cashew in case you're wondering. Cashew nut. Okay. Guys, anyone with the answer? Okay, so Abdullah is saying I think it's 4,180. So okay, Abdul, thank you so much for trying. Let's see if you are right. Are you okay? I don't know the answer. Let's see. All right, so let's write down the solution to this problem. That's just a minute. I think my laptop wants to go off, so let me just. Okay, we are safe. No more battery issues. All right, so we had here Kofi deposited 3,000 Ghana cedis. So the principal over here, P, is 3,000. And then he deposited it at the bank at an interest rate of 10%. So the rate is 10% per annum. So he's supposed to, how much will he get after 3.5 years? So the time here is 3.5 years, or you can write 3.5 years. Okay, that is still the same. So the interest here, to calculate the interest will be the principal multiplied by the rate, by the time, or divided by 100, as we all know. And then over here, the principal is 3,000 multiplied by the rate, which is 10, multiplied by the time, which is 3.5, all divided by 100. And as always, I will cancel 2 zeros here with this one. So I have here 30 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 3.5. So I have 30 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 3.5. And that will give me 1,050 cedis. Okay, 3.5 years, so 3.5. Okay, 1,050 cedis. So this is just the interest, okay? Just the interest. So it means that the amount of money that we get after 3.5 years, which is the total, I'm using total for it in this case, that will be the principal plus the simple interest, and that will be 3,000 plus 1,050. Are we okay? And that will be equal to, so this 1,050 plus 3,000 will give us 4,050. 4,050 Ghana cedis. Okay, so it's GHC Ghana cedis as our answer. Are we okay? So Abdullah, if you did the calculation in your head, right, you are right. Approximately, you are right. Okay, it's around 4,000 plus. Okay, it's not up to 4,001, but it's around 4,000. Okay, it's around 4,000 Ghana cedis. Yes, so you are partly correct. Okay, but if we are going specifically with the amount that he has to pay after 3.5 years, it is 4,050 Ghana cedis. 4,050 Ghana cedis, because the interest is supposed to be 1,050 Ghana cedis, and then the amount that he deposited was 3,000, so he will get 4,050 Ghana cedis at the end of 3.5 years. Sorry. So Abdullah, I hope you understand how come we got a 4,050. Okay, please, do you understand? Okay, very good, very good. Thank you so much. So now that you get this, I hope if I give you a new set of questions, you can answer it. Okay. So Abdullah, so what I will do is that I have another question here. Okay, because per my schedule, this is the last question we have. But since you are interacting with me, which I really love, I would give one question, and then this time around, I'll give you enough time to do the calculation and send the answer so that we see. Are we okay? All right. So I'm trying to look for a simple question. Okay, okay, okay. Okay, so calculate the amount for the principal, which is equal to 9,000, okay, the rate 5%, and the time t is 5.5 years. Okay, so you have to calculate the amount for the principal, okay, the other amount that a person will pay if they borrow 9,000 cedis at a rate of 5% for a period of 5.5 years. Calculate the amount that they will pay. So the total will be the principal plus the interest. Okay, this one, the question is saying calculate the amount, not just the interest. So you calculate the amount. So Abdullah, please give a try to this question. Now, if you want me to rewrite it, so this is the question. You can go ahead, but let me rephrase it in a nicer way. So let me use my name. So Samuel borrowed 9,000 Ghana cedis at a rate of 5% per annum. Calculate the amount. Calculate the amount he has to pay. He has to pay after 5.5 years. Okay, so it's the same question, but I've now rewritten it in a sentence form that will make sense to you. So Abdullah, it is Samuel borrowed 9,000 cedis at a rate of 5% per annum. You have to calculate the amount he has to pay after 5.5 years. Okay, so guys, this is not only for Abdullah. So if you're also there, you're watching, I can see a lot of people watching. Please try the question. Try the question. Are you okay? You can basically use your phone or just do some mental math. If you don't have any calculator, just do some mental math and give me the answer. So Abdullah, you have 3 minutes. So yes, let's wait for you. Let's give me the answer to this question. So solve this problem. Okay, we have 2 minutes more. So let's solve this problem. We have the problem on the screen. So let's solve that problem. Okay, so Abdullah, you have 1 more minute. Okay, and I hope you are still watching. Just give it a try. You're under no pressure. Just give it a try and give me the answer. If you're unable to solve, we will do it together, obviously. Okay, so Abdullah is saying he thinks we should do it together. But Abdul, I hope you are understanding the concept. Okay, it's very simple. It's just multiplying three things: the principal, the rate, and then the time. The principal is the amount that you are borrowing to someone or someone has borrowed from you. Then the rate is the amount, the percentage of increment. So the rate is the percentage given in the question, which in this case is 5%. And then the time is always given in years, sometimes in months, but oftentimes in years. And that is the year that is given in the question. Are we okay? So now that we have that understanding, let's proceed to solve this problem. Right, Abdullah, I hope you subscribe to the channel because we do these live streams every day. The Shakin Hour is every day. So we do the live stream every day. We teach, sometimes we look at past questions, we look at multiple choice questions. So we do it every day. So subscribe to the channel if you've not. And then tomorrow, the same time, 7 p.m. GMT, we will be streaming again. All right, so let's look at the solution to the problem down below. So in this case, our principal, which is the P, is the 9,000 that I have over here. So I have 9,000. And then the rate, which is the R, is the 5% that I have over here. So that is equal to 5%. And then the time is 5.5 years. Okay. Now 5.5 is the same as 5.5 years. Are you okay? So you can use 5.5 years. Okay, or you can change this to 5 multiplied by 10, which 5 multiplied by 2, which is 10, plus 1, which is 11 over 2. You can use the fraction as well. It depends on how you handle the formula. But since it is not a quarter or anything, I think 5.5 is 5.5. Okay, so we'll use this. So the interest over here, the simple interest, is the principal multiplied by the rate multiplied by the time, all over 100. Okay, Abdullah, I hope up until this point you understand, because I've just written the parameters that the question has given me and I've quoted the formula. I hope up until this point you're okay. Right, I think so. All right, good. So from here, the principal is the 9,000. So I have the P is the 9,000. So I write the 9,000 over here. Very good. Okay. So I write the 9,000 over here. So the 9,000 is the principal, multiplied by the rate is the 5% that I have over here. The R in the formula is the 5% that I have there. So I have the 5 over here. Then multiplied by the time is the T. Okay, and the T is 5.5 or 5.5. Okay, so I have here 5.5 over here, and then this is all divided by 100. Are you okay? Now, because this is very simple, you can straight ahead go put all this into your calculator and get your answer. There's no problem with that. Or you can cancel out. Okay, you can say the 100 goes into 90,000 90 times, and then you use the 90 to multiply the 5 and then the 5.5. But if that will confuse you, just take your calculator. I have mine on my tablet, so I'm using mine. So all I have to do is the ratio 9,000 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5.5, or divided by 100. Okay, so that is mine, as you guys can see. So I have the 9,000 multiplied by 5 multiplied by 5.5, all on 100, as you guys can see here on my screen. So that is it, and that will give me 2,475. Okay, so this amount of money becomes my interest, just the interest after 5.5 years. That is just the interest. Okay, so now the question is saying calculate the amount he has to pay. So the amount that I have to pay will be the interest plus the money that I borrowed. Okay, yes, yes. So you are Abdullah is saying yes. I've found the answer. Very good. Yes. So do the comment the answer in the live chat. Let me see. Okay. Now that we've calculated the interest and then we know the principal, please let me know the final answer in the chat. So we are looking at the amount payable, which we are saying is the principal plus the simple interest, and that would be Abdullah. I hope you are typing the final answer in there. Okay, so in this case, that would be the 9,000. That is the principal that I have borrowed plus the 2,475,000, and this will give us our final answer. Okay, so I have the 9,000 plus 2,475. Okay, so very good, Abdullah. So this is the total amount of money that he has to pay. It is now 11,475. Okay, so this is the amount of money that he has to pay. 11,475. He borrowed 9,000, and then the rate that was given to him was 5%, and it was for, yes, very good, Abdullah. That's very correct. So it's 11,475. So thank you so much. That the answer is very correct. Are you okay? That is very, very correct. So he borrowed 9,000 for a rate of 5% for 5.5 years. And that is the amount that he has to pay. Okay. Now, note that there's a difference. The interest is the simple interest that we calculated. The interest that he has to pay on the money is 2,475. But the total that he has to pay back is the 11,475. Are you okay? Make sure you don't get it confused. Are you okay? So yes, Abdullah, I hope you found this session helpful. If you want one more question, I can give you one more question for you to try your hands on before we end the stream. If not, then thank you so much for joining, and I'll end the stream here. So yes, so it's now on you, Abdullah. If you want another question, I can give it to you. You solve it, and then we look at it together before we end the stream. If not, then we can uh, do it together. We can solve the problem together, and then we end the stream. So if you want another another session, sorry, another question, let me know. If not, then we'll end the stream here. All right, thank you so much. So Abdullah is saying it's enough. Good night. So thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for making the session very interactive and enjoyable. I really had a fun time, and I hope you've also learned something new today. Like I said, my science tutorial evenings like this, we call it Shocking Hour, and this is the time where we come together as student and teacher to learn together, and then solve some past questions, and just sometimes do IQ test questions. Okay, just general knowledge questions and other set of questions as well. So this is the time for us to learn. We call it the Sharking Hour. This is episode 11 of the Sharking Hour, and today we looked at what we call the simple interest, and we're saying this is the method used to calculate the interest that will be charged on amount of money that you've borrowed at a given rate for a particular period of time. And then we looked at a couple of questions on what we call simple interest. We looked at about 4 questions, and I'm so glad Abdullah was able to join and was able to make the session very interactive. So I really, really appreciate you, Abdullah. Thank you so much, and I hope you've subscribed to the channel. So yes, for the other audience who are watching, maybe this might not necessarily relate to you directly, but you have a friend, you have a colleague who is still in high school or who still needs some of these questions, or you just want to keep your brain active, right? You want to keep your brain active. You've forgotten some of these things. You just want to keep your brain active, right? You've been scrolling YouTube shorts all day long, right? You've been laughing at comedy, football, games, and other things, right? It's time to do a little bit of calculations, right? Challenge yourself a little bit. Have some small mathematics that will change you. That will show you are still active. You know, you are still as brilliant as ever. Okay. All right. So thank you so much for joining, guys. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you once again, and I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place here on my science tutorial on YouTube. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay. So thank you so much, and then bye bye.